Now, we all do love to judge. This is because deep down we are all a-holes. But that is to be human, whatever that means. The point is, when you do get into professional wrestling, you do not know what is going to click. Hence why we are sitting here 30 years removed from Repo Man. And in hindsight, we can look back and go, my gosh, what an absolute fabulous gimmick. And what an all-timer he was. So with him as our inspiration, let us look at some other sports entertainers that actually succeeded against all the odds. Also, hello, I am Simon Miller. I know I'm recording this from a hotel room, but now ignore that and let's go. Number 10, Braun Strowman. Now, this one is a slight curveball because somebody like Braun Strowman is always going to have a little bit of an opportunity in WWE. Have you ever seen that man? He is totally massive, and he looks like he could whoop your butt. The reason he deserves so much praise, though, is because Vince McMahon was so in awe of him when he caught a glimpse of him backstage, he called him up to the main roster, even though he'd only had like 1.75 matches on NXT. Now, what do I know? But I think you need more than that. It is one of the reasons he was put with the Wyatt family, though, so he could be protected and essentially be their heater. But actually what happened is that when Braun did leave that cult, he did get quite over. And this really was because he was treated more than just a giant. I mean, do you remember that feud with Roman Reigns when he would just walk around and flipping vehicles? He was so damn entertaining to watch. And don't forget that Elimination Chamber match, or Hell in the Cell, I forget which one it was now, when quite clearly Braun Strowman should have been the one to win. But it's when we were pushing Roman, and we had to push Roman, and we had to continue to push Roman. It's a different video for a different day. What it did do, though, is that it opened people's eyes to the fact that Strowman could be loads of fun. So let's make sure we book him like we did. Don't just go down the generic path. That's really boring. Number 9, The Miz. What sucks about 2024 is that even though The Miz has done everything, some people still do disrespect his name. I don't like it. You see, he's had a Hall of Fame worthy career that any wrestler on this planet would love to copy. And don't forget he did this after the locker room back in the mid-2000s had gone, we're not a big fan of you, so we're going to kick you out and make you change in the bathroom. That's another reason why I love them is he decided he was going to be a WWE superstar regardless, and hot damn, he made it. Through all of this as well, he went all the way to the WrestleMania 27 main event, and he has been the world champion on multiple occasions. And even when we look at how the company booked him to begin with, he came in as a host on one of those diva searches. And even The Miz will tell you this, it did not go well. He forgot his line. Talk about pure tenacity, though, because now he is on top of the mountain. Forgive me for repeating myself, but if you have just taken your first bump in wrestling school, well, you could do a hell of a lot worse than doing what The Miz did. Number 8, The Hurricane. Shane Helms was such a good hand in WCW that when he finally arrived in WWE and then became a cartoon character, essentially, people raised their eyebrows like, well, this is a pile of nonsense. However, because like in anything in wrestling, if you commit yourself to it 100%, it will work. The Hurricane became one of the best gimmicks that we had seen in ages. If there was some sort of comedy hall of fame, I would throw him into the thing. Do not forget either that Helms still was making appearances long after his proper retirement in this costume. If that's not working and something's not clicking, shouldn't have done it, I don't know what it. All you have to do is hear Shane talk about this as well before you realise that he totally gets it. Once again, here we are in the modern day, and we still remember some of his feuds. Remember all that craziness with The Rock? That was good TV. But I really do think he has to be considered an all-timer when it does come to these kind of personas. And given how long it has been, we should find a new recruit to basically rip this off. Because trust me, if it worked back then, and you do find the right individual, it will 100% work again. Number 7, Becky Lynch. Now, Becky Lynch gets into this list because of her autobiography she just released, because if you have read that, she goes into all of her struggles and how screw WWE. At one point, it felt like she was never actually going to return to pro wrestling. Even when she eventually got signed with NXT, she still found there were so many obstacles to overcome because she never really felt like she belonged. And in terms of the training, Becky felt like she fell behind everybody else and that eventually she was going to get fired. Ruh-roh. It's why she went to the NXT power-ups and just said, please give me a TV match. And I'm sure you've seen this. They turned her into an Irish caricature who also did an Irish jig. It didn't seem like she was going to be a future main eventer. Even then, when we go to the main roster call-up, there were so many years when she was just doing nothing. Remember that tag team she had with Naomi? Probably not. Once again, they didn't do anything. It was actually an ill-advised heel turn and a random broken nose that did turn this around. Because I think Becky had just put in so much time over the weeks and months, the fans were like, yeah, we're not going to boo you. And in fact, we do think you're one of the biggest stars we've ever seen. cut to WrestleMania 35 and her main eventing the thing. And if that is not a turnaround, I don't know what. I really don't think that women's wrestling in WWE would be the same without her. And let's go back to what I just said. Imagine in 2016, I told you that Becky Lynch was going to main event WrestleMania 35. You would slap me around the face. Number 6, Baron Corbin. Is Baron Corbin one of the most underrated wrestlers of the modern era? I'll let you have one guess. The answer is yes. He needed to get a bad rap because in 2019, he was put in a horrible position when Raw was an absolute ship show of a television program, and the McMahons basically came out and said, don't blame us, blame Baron. That was really, really not fair. No matter what, though, Baron Corbin always somehow made this work, and not like after this, he had that broke Corbin gimmick, which was so damn good, I actually got annoyed when WWE ended this early. It should have been the start of his babyface turn. He should have ridden it, ironically, all the way to the bank. The man is so astute, too, he can read a room, which is why he went down to NXT. I mean, his in-ring right now is better than ever has been, too. So Baron deserves more praise. Number 5, Alexa Bliss. Now, Alexa Bliss is always destined for success because of the way she carries herself. But actually, if you go and watch her NXT run today, it just kind of feels like it's a lot of nothing. I mean, she didn't click at all. As it turned out, though, she is one of these people that didn't need to be called up to the main roster, because then within about 6 months' time, the fans had totally been won over by her. And also, put this back in your brain, she was so good as a heel, she turned Nia Jax not only into a babyface, but a believable person that was getting bullied. And when you think of the size differences, well, bravo. So that really does take a special type of wrestler, and while everything with The Fiend was a little bit strange, still think she played her role very well. But yes, if you do go back 5, 6, 7, or 8 years and see where she got to today, I don't think you would have called what she actually wound up doing. Number 4, The New Day. Anybody knew The New Day was going to work, it was Xavier Woods who went to Vince McMahon and said, hey, Vince, if this doesn't go the way I see it in my head, you can fire me. He put his damn job on the line. Now, the only issue is that the boss thought that Kofi Kingston, Big E, and Woods should be good guys, and Xavier knew that was trash. But they still went out there and they made sure to turn the crowd. And honestly, within about 12 months, they were some of the most entertaining, hated bad guys in the entire WWE. Thankfully, they were given this creative control because they were also so damn funny. And while it's a bit played out now, that time when we first saw the trombone used as an interference in matches, I remember having tears in my eyes. I would always take more wrestling like this. And even people like The Big Show had to go and apologize to Kofi because he had told Kingston this will be the death knell of your career. And here we are 10 years later, and I'm still happy they're around. One day they probably will go away, and I would be a sad panda. Number 3, Logan Paul. This one is still kind of amazing, because really, when you think about it, people don't much like Logan Paul. Now, a quick Google of what he does outside of the ring will confirm this, but in terms of what he is doing within sports entertainment, this guy has taken to it like a duck to water. And I know he gets to practice all of his matches, but you still have to have a lot of talent. And if he does decide to focus his whole attention on this full time, I tell you, he could become an absolute great. I mean, Paul even went toe-to-toe with Roman Reigns in Saudi Arabia, and his triple threat match at WrestleMania 40, one of the best matches of the week. None of this would have worked either if he hadn't embraced the idea of being a mega heel, but again, he finally started to understand how pro wrestling does work. So no matter what you think about the human being, in terms of being a professional wrestler, he is so over right now, and he's just at the beginning of his journey. So he does keep doing this for another 5 years. I think we're going to have to eat your words. He may even smash out a 5-star match. Goodbye comments. Number 2, Dominic Mysterio. Because he's just a Nepo baby, right? Which actually was a perfectly fair thing to say, because he was the child of Rey Mysterio, and that allowed him to get his foot in the door. The thing is, now in 2024, Dom has more than proved his worth, and in terms of heels throughout the entire industry, he is one of my favorites. And once again, if we go to his performances in the ring, he has gone from, okay, I guess he has some potential, to being a damn good, credible, reliable worker. His future is so bright too, I actually think he will win one of the big belts one day. I mean, look what he did with the North American title down in NXT. I thought that was pretty good. If nothing else, Mysterio is just entertaining to watch and has taken the family name and continued on this legacy, and he's done it in a completely different way to his dad. And once again, that takes a lot of hard work. I'm excited to see where Dominic goes. Number 1, Roman Reigns. Well, we all know this story. WWE was really stupid. If we had just listened to the fans, we could have forgone all that stuff between 2016 and 2020. But no, we decided he had to be a mega babyface, so we just pushed and pushed and pushed. It also meant that we had to ignore all the boos and do that terrible dog food angle. But actually, in retrospect, that was the best thing to happen, because even Reigns was like, yes, I can't do this anymore. I am going to go away. When he did return, he was the tribal chief. and he went on a 1,316-day title reign, which as far as I'm concerned was all time. Also, remember that episode of SmackDown when it turned out that he had paired himself with Paul Heyman? People were like, oh my gosh. And even if he did retire tomorrow, he is a guaranteed Hall of Famer. And not just because WWE has always had him as the chosen one, but because he has proven it time and time again. It wasn't his fault that nobody would let him be a bad guy. He knew deep in his tum-tum, and the proof has been up there on the screen for the last 4 flipping years. So let's just hope we do learn our lesson this time, because we should have learned it in 1996 with The Rock. What are you going to do? Now, of course, please do like the video, share the video, and subscribe, and leave a comment below and let me know how wrong I am. This does happen a lot. And click the video on the screen, which is me talking about WWE as always. But otherwise, my friends, thank you for supporting me throughout all of this madness, and I'll see you on the next one.